I didn't say President Igari will win. Tell me. No, because it says rainwater crying is safe.
I didn't see.
Oh, Kosa President Johnson.
Have a policy or make that conscious decision, whether it's you, the parliamentarians, or the political elite, or as a country, that we need a presidential jet, a new presidential jet. What do you say?
It is clear to me that the charter arrangements that President Akufo-Addo has been pursuing was just to herald this. They were preparing the grounds for this big announcement that a new presidential jet is needed. Let me serve notice that we on the NDC side in Parliament, we have discussed extensively amongst ourselves. We are not going to support this purchase, the purchase of a new aircraft.
Abusia mamena wase na mema wakwaba. NDC political party no mu no nkrofo mienu bi ewo mu a baakudin eye Honorable Same Okudzeto Abrakwa ene Honorable Sam George say NDC echo opposition some years to come. No say NPP esan eba say anhwe yi a omo entumi enka asembia emfa sa party no eho adenti e na meka sa tamona NPP ewo aban mu na NDC ewo opposition no NPP for eyo madwen say presidential jet a ewo ho wose na nado dan kwakufu ado oyusu no sa presidential jet no ayedada eyisu a enye yie but because say na Honorable Okudzeto Abrakwa mo ewo opposition no ensemu a omo ekaye Honorable Okudzeto Abrakwa okotena TV3 any Roland eye interview bi ma Roland ebisa ne question na no yi a Honorable Okudzeto Abrakwa ode emaaye no Honorable Asiedu Ketia so oka the same thing Sami Jemfimu nipa bebre omo kan say they are not going to allow it say na nado dan kwakufu ado one the government omo ebeto new presidential jets eno fofie ant water na NPP efri aban mu ene NDC fo ena omo ewo ho na nse ye mi nka ye nyina ye yawo ye nyina ye nimdi esiye helicopter crash no ema His Excellency John Dramani Mahama oye na dwin say obeto helicopter no biem em say 4 ediama military and I say ME4 no na presidential jet nso watomienu eno na NPP fo nso eka ewo parliament say Honorable Okudzeto Abrakwa Honorable Asiedu Ketia Sami Jemfimu ene NDC fo tamona na nado dan kwakufu ado owo ho na na okwakoto presidential jet no ede be asem ena moka ede fa ho na menua enumkuasia Okudzeto Abrakwa ote parliament na NPP fo kasa na wohwe nanim ade kamera no eto no so a na wohwe nanim ade nanim aye no megidi se nensamo na owo opposition na okaye no wonya kwan biem se obedi nkommo a criticize party bi o wa ban mu a obehwe yi anase obedwen ho mienu menua me ma me kasa enye tintin yenko na yenkotie NDC for time na omo opposition nsem omo kaaye e dey for the purchase of presidential jet no eho ene nsem a ekoso ewo parliament siye na omo entumi enkasa omo ye debate kura ewo sasem ho Okudzeto ete ho pa enso ontumi emie na no wati ase enti se woni politicians ediria na wo hu nkrofoko a ono omo edire no na wanko problem bi emu yenko na yenko he videos no emra yekoba yebeto so na ansa na be he videos no meselo se wonya en subscribe ya na wa subscribe like video wi na share ma wonu bi na ono so onya bi enhwe menua he videos no emra yekoba yebeto so meda wase
I didn't say President Igari will win. Tell me. No, because it says rainwater crying is safe.
I didn't see.
Oh, Kosa President Johnson. So. I didn't say President Igari will win. I can't say, it's so freshen up will play Munan. How many people do that? How many presidents do that? How many of them? Tell me.
have a policy or make that conscious decision, whether it's you, the parliamentarians, or the political elite, or as a country, that we need a presidential jet, a new presidential jet? What do you say?
It is clear to me that the charter arrangements that President Akufo-Addo has been pursuing was just to herald this. They were preparing the grounds for this big announcement that a new presidential jet is needed. Let me serve notice that we on the NDC side in Parliament, we have discussed extensively amongst ourselves. We are not going to support this purchase, the purchase of a new aircraft, because of a number of reasons. One, the current presidential jet is fit for purpose. As President George Weah has told us in our faces, it's very fit for purpose. There's nothing wrong with it. Number two, the current presidential jet, if you read the Hansard of 19th March 2008, we were told by the then Defense Minister, who is now National Security Minister, Honorable Kandapa, that our jet has a 20-year lifespan after it arrives. It arrived in October 2010. It's done barely 11 years. Next month it will be 11 years. We are nowhere near 2030.
I want to submit very forcefully that the decision by the Akufo-Addo Bawumia MPP government to buy a new presidential jet is a misplaced priority and will amount to a waste of the public purse if allowed. The mere thought of it at this time is insensitive to the plight of the ordinary Ghanaian and an insult to our sensibilities. If President Akufo-Addo and Dr. Bawumia cared about the sufferings of Ghanaians, they would not even think of buying a presidential jet at this time. And some of the justifications being mounted, for this expenditure, some of which we have heard on this platform, for me, are mind-boggling. Look, Samson, our economy is in shambles as we speak. The country is broke because we are spending almost 100% of our tax revenue on just interest payments, the interest on our debts. Almost 100% of our tax revenue is spent on that. That is almost 90%. That is a fact. When you were speaking, I didn't interject you. You get the opportunity. No, you have nothing to correct. I'm speaking to facts. When I'm done, you can come in.
Basically, is spent on 3 budgets.
No. Sometimes I don't think you should allow this.
No, it's important. Let him say.
Interests and then statutory funds. So it's not just
what you're saying. Okay. If you look at 2021, total tax revenue, total tax revenue for 2020 was 45.2 million. This year you are projecting something around 47 million. That alone is the total, is equal to the total amount of interest we need to pay on our debt for 2021.
So we need to pay.
Let me finish. Gideon.
Just get this right.
I think you have made the intervention. You have made the intervention, so it's okay.
Even if you pick total revenue, that is oil revenue together with tax revenue and all the revenue we are projecting to get in 2021, we are spending all that on just 2 budget line items. Compensation, which is the salary and wages of public sector workers, and interest payment. Today, we borrow for goods and services. Money for the running of government agencies, we borrow for that. We borrow for statutory funds. We borrow for capital expenditure. We borrow for everything. Even money to buy fuel for the vehicles that our president and his entourage have been using. We borrow. Money for A4 sheet, for pens, for our ministry, we borrow to buy that. You understand? That is how broke we are, and all these things are facts. You are living in a country today where labor is calling for increases in their salary.
NDC treated former President Nana Addo as though his life didn't matter. Broja Jemfi, my XYZ online, he said, "We will treat you like MPs if you support purchase of new presidential jets." That was what he told his MPs then when they were in minority. And when I saw your flyer, that Honorable Lenchini was also appearing on this program to talk about presidential jet, I said, Did he look at the topic? Because, Honorable, this is you, captured on City, June 20, 2021. Our presidential jet offers better security and safety than a private jet.
That is true.
Tobu. And this is a quotation. A retired police officer, a member of parliament.
Read the headline.
No, let me. There's a place I'm interested in. Parliament for Wawes, Peter Lanchini Tobu, insists that the Minister of Defense, Dominic Nitiwu's justification for non-use of presidential jet for the president's recent travel holds no water. So there's nothing you say today that will hold water for me. Again, lastly...
Are you not concluding on the matter?
No, I've already concluded based on what he ever said. You see, the NDC, some of the NDC members of parliament and ministers have no right to even start this discussion at all. They have no right at all. This is Honorable Ablakwa, 15 December 2021. A government which claims to be facing one of the most difficult economic challenges of the modern era, and for which it seeks to railroad an obnoxious and regressive e-levy, should not be holding consultation for the purchase of a new presidential jet. We shall frustrate these two, consistent with the Akufo-Addo doctrine of priorities, as contained in the February Parliamentary Hansard of 15th February 2000. I want to know whether they've been able to solve every problem, whether they've paid the teachers, they've paid nurses, whether everything is in order for them to begin to discuss a purchase of presidential jet. We will resist it, just as they said. The key word that was flying all over was that the jet was in pristine condition. It is still pristine. President Mama should use it.
But you've just been told by the minister that it's not in pristine.
I'm not listening to him.
Then when we should hear from the lady.
I know, but he's saying...
When the then defense minister, Dominic Nitiwu, was explaining, they had none of that. They said that we should still use it. And remember, Honorable Ablakwa even said that it has 2 engines. If one fails, the other 3 engines, right? If 1 or 2 fails, still the other one can carry. So meaning President Nanado's life didn't matter. Right. He should sit in one flight powered by 1 engine, even if this one is leaking.
Given that my good friend, the Minister for Foreign Affairs, a member of Parliament for North Tongue, Mr. Speaker, has been very vociferous on private and presidential jets, Mr. Speaker. If the minister can support me, and I made this case in this House, if the minister can support me to call on the Ministry of Finance and the government of Ghana to purchase 1 presidential jet instead of 2, and to purchase, let's say, 2 helicopters instead of 4. Mr. Speaker, if the government was to do that, I want to believe that the Minister for Foreign Affairs, Mr. Speaker, who is actually on record to have said that if his government had purchased a presidential jet, he will resign. Mr. Speaker, the Minister for Foreign Affairs should support me to call on the Ministry of Finance to scale down these purchases the government intends to engage in, and that will give us some fiscal space, Mr. Speaker. That will loosen the Ministry of Finance up, and that will ensure that the Ministry of Finance will be able to fund the 3 billion, the very important 3 billion budget request the Minister for Foreign Affairs made. Mr. Speaker, I think it's important that I conclude on that note, and indeed, Mr. Speaker, these are absolutely important matters. Mr. Speaker, prioritization in government expenditure and allocation is very important, Mr. Speaker. You can decide to allocate money for your foreign ministry to pursue their foreign policy initiatives, including the STRIDE initiative, the e-visa he wants to do, the passport initiatives he wants to engage in, and the minister's own words. He says, well, I have a big vision, but I don't have the money to carry out all the vision. Mr. Minister for Foreign Affairs, you've been very vociferous on private jets and presidential jets. The season has not changed. Let's stay to the principle. Come on, support me. Let's call on the government to drop 1 presidential jet, drop 2 helicopters, and they will have money to fund you. I thank you very much, Speaker.
Thank you very much.
Mr. Speaker, I'm talking about 1.2 billion United States dollars to purchase presidential jets when you cannot pay nurses, when you cannot pay teachers, when you cannot buy farm produce.
Says who the kind of politicians I know ever Ghana memuha. NPP for monso yes saron. Say eyo mo and can you say no monso omo ebeka. Me jini says no almost what shall say can say bia. In some years to come no. Send ye atu Okudzeto Ablakwa ene no. Sa ena omonso ebeto omo. Tamwa Honorable Sam George LGBTQ sensemono ebaye. Ewo parliament no. Tamona na nadran Akufo-Addo owo ho no. Ghana ni bia e free 18 years eko na onya kwan eba social media so no de oti Sam George nka na tamo Mahama eba aban mu His Excellency eba aban mu na saa asem no esole ye no e de be asem na Sam George oka e de fa what ya see ya see etuawe nko ho a obeka se etuaduom what ya see basisi ya no munya kwan aba de mu amu kan se monye no eno a ena mugusu a moye Okudzeto bla kwampo de o kana asem a ade ebechi o kan se senaban hane private jets etu kwan a obe resign as a minister and I say as MP anche bia na Jane Opoku Agyeman yade no etu kwan ekwa ama no ne se ekwa akɔhwɛ na yare jet na yede kɔ ye no ye han Okudzeto de na esi ye or resign ya na nti ebestre ye politicians no they should be sincere enough to speak the truth so mo aban mu se mo opposition no na boa ama yenso ye wa akira no ye tie wo mu a yahu se omo eye credible what ya see nene oka sei na ade akina wonya kwanya eba na se osesa wa adwen ya na Ghana fo ye na odi adwen edi agro ana se ede enya etimi nua de etwagu ehero no oso de wadwen eye obi ano na akọ comment section ho na watworo ede agu ho like video we so na share ma wonua na ono so onya bi enhwe wonya unsubscribe ye so a mesro se subscribe no obekirike so na boa ama biara aye kama mame na wase na memfa wo ensia mesro se obehwe ohun so yi me ne wo ebehie nim sisi ye de macro bye bye.